I'm Jackie. I'm the creator and illustrator of Midnight City Tarot. I'm the founder and I wear basically all of the hats. So everything from marketing to product development, design, fulfillment, packaging, everything. So yeah, pretty much the full role. I launched my tarot deck in February of 2021. So my company's pretty new. And it is a tarot deck based on my journey through New York City. So in 2012, I just got this intense calling to follow my heart, move to the city from my small hometown. And all of the events that compiled really came together to form the story of the tarot, which I can get into a little bit because I'm sure not everybody is familiar with tarot and what that all means. So it's basically it starts with like the hero's journey. So it's a spiritual journey and it's something that relates to everybody. So it's a very universal story. So it was really cool to bring it kind of up to date because this is an ancient modality. It's been used since the 1500s. And I know a lot of the decks that I started working with were really kind of old-fashioned, and I wanted something that I could bring to the world that was very new, modern, colorful, and fun. So I brought tarot to New York City and made it set at midnight. So I gave it a cool background with starry skies and beautiful colors, and every person in there is based on the cosmos. Every single card had happened. Like I've had that experience. Like I remembered going on the train over the Manhattan Bridge and like looking at the moon, and there's a beautiful moon card in the tarot. So it was so cool to be able to apply my experiences to these like archetypes that we're all really familiar with. So that was definitely the day that it all like came together for me. So a lot of like foundational work went into it. I had to draw everything, which took a really long time. So there's 78 cards. So I drew all of those first in my notebook, and then I transferred them over and did them all digitally, colorized them, got them ready to go, and then began looking for printers and vendors. So there was a lot of legwork that went into setting it up. And after I got the first like prototype deck produced, that's when I started looking into how am I going to market this. I first heard about Tailwind actually on a Udemy course that I took. In the beginning, before I even launched, I wanted to make sure I was maximizing all of the social media tools that I was using, and I wasn't an expert in Pinterest. So I found a great course on Pinterest and I followed to a T everything that they recommended. And the biggest thing was Tailwind, and they gave an explanation of how to use it, how to set up your pins, and I loved that you could set them up so they would repost like over time. So I started with Tailwind really before I even started doing social media. So it was super helpful to have that in the very beginning. The prototype deck, I did photos, which was really important. I spent a lot of my time doing photography for the deck. And I set up all my pins and then I put it all together in Tailwind, even like 6 months before I launched, which was awesome and like so helpful to have that like structure ready and get the word out about the deck before it was just like, okay, here it is. So it was super helpful to have Tailwind as a tool at that time. I created a lot of pins that would help people understand like how to use the deck. So I have like different spreads and stories about how when I moved to New York City, what it was like, and blog posts. So it helped me promote the blog posts and just a little more like meaty content. So they were both super important, but definitely they're, not as critical that I'm working on them every single day like it was in the very beginning. They are still circulating. Every time I go on Pinterest, I'm still getting people pinning those original pins that I had set up in the very beginning because of Tailwind, which is awesome. It was super easy. I loved how user-friendly it was. I loved like the calendars, like even in the beginning with the pins, you can pick the time that you want everything to be pinned at. It was just very like streamlined and organized, which I love. I'm a Virgo rising, so I need things to be very organized and detail oriented, and I felt like Tailwind definitely gave that to me. So super, super easy to use. It was super helpful to have that in the very beginning. I used it for Pinterest, only for Pinterest. And then probably a year later, I realized like, oh, cool, there's this new feature I can use for Instagram, which is exactly what I needed. Like it came at the perfect time. I found it this summer and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I didn't have a big following. I started my Instagram account with one follower, which was my boyfriend. So I started from the ground up. It was definitely critical to have the Pinterest component and the Instagram component, because that's just the way that we can get our work out in the world now, which is so cool that we have this tool as an option. But it definitely comes with a lot of time and a lot of hard work to get, the word out there. So definitely Tailwind has been super helpful. So Instagram is something that I used in the beginning mostly to tease the deck. Before I did the launch, I wanted to, put some cards out there, gather some interest, see who would be, excited about it. So I was on Instagram a lot, making sure that I was getting the word out there. And now it's more of like a maintenance and just keeping the account fresh, because I have new projects that I'm working on, so I'm not able to dedicate as much time. But since the deck is out in the world a little bit more, there's more people that are showing it on their own social media platforms, which has been super cool to see it at different, with different people using it all over the world. So it's getting more traction, it's coming to life on its own now. So cool to watch it start from zero. So that's a really good point. I really started from the ground up with no followers at all. And even with Pinterest, I don't put a ton of time into it. And every day I see people pinning on it and I get new followers. So I think I'm at 35,000 monthly views, which is pretty awesome for not really working on it at all, not putting a lot of time into it. The calendar and the social media plan have been amazing, because it's a lot of work to think of all the different promotions and how you want to, what you want to say. And it, at a certain point, it's like, I feel like I've said everything I can about the deck. So, and I'm busy with other projects. So it's like having a little like digital assistant now, because there's so many prompts and so many examples, and it just keeps me feeling inspired to post, and it keeps it really fresh, which is nice. I just remember in the beginning filling out the questionnaire, and it asked how many hours a week do you have to use Tailwind or to focus on social media, and then what kind of products you have, and filling all that out and then getting a little deliverable at the end with a plan was super helpful. That was the best feature for me. I felt like I wasn't alone trying to sort out what I was going to do for social media for the month ahead. I had some help and support, which was awesome. And I love the calendar feature. I love planning ahead so I can plan my product launches. And that's been a really great update, definitely. And it saves me so much time. So I'm able to work on my new products, tons of things that I've developed. I think I've launched at least 4 or 5 products since the deck, which is amazing. And this summer I've redrawn the artwork so that this is going to be a blacklight deck. So it's going to be a collector's edition blacklight deck that I'll be launching in the fall, which I'm super excited about. And I would not have been able to do that if I had just been going on Instagram myself, posting every day, getting stuck and scrolling. So it's given me so much more time to focus on, tons of new products. I have candles coming out. I've worked on a pouch launch, which is really cool. That's been one of my most popular products. I have little matches that I launched that tie right back into the deck, and a tarot cloth, all kinds of really, really cool stuff that makes the shop feel so much more full and fun, and makes everything really gifty too. When you go into the shop, you're able to, buy a bunch of things at different price points, which is so cool. So that was definitely super helpful in the first, year in business, to be able to launch all those other products, because I didn't have to give so much of my time away to apps, which was amazing. So I have my own online shop, and I also sell to physical shops. So my deck is carried at different places around the world. One of the shops is Flower Power in New York City, which is an awesome herbal apothecary, which is super cool. So it is in physical locations, but my shop that I run is all online. I see it in a lot more shops. That's always been my dream, is to have it in brick and mortar shops around the country and around the world. And also to have more decks that will go with it. I don't know when. Hopefully I'll have a lot of time to work on it now that I don't have to do so much social media, but that's definitely a goal. And hopefully teaching some workshops and in-person classes. That's definitely been a goal of mine too. Basically anything you could think of that takes to run a business, I am doing that. So it's hard when I'm, oh my gosh, I have to post today and I have to get everything out. So Tailwind's really helped me not have to worry about the posting component, and I can just focus on taking care of my clients as soon as they place their orders, which is awesome. Something I'm really proud of.